Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone. There is a moment. And if you have lived long enough, you know exactly the one I mean. When something happens that hurts you so deeply, and instead of crying out, instead of saying a word, you simply go quiet. Not because you have nothing to say, not because you are fine, but because somewhere along the way, you learned that your pain was not safe to speak out loud. Maybe it happened in a home where your feelings were dismissed. Maybe it happened in a relationship where your truth was twisted back against you. Maybe it happened so many times, in so many places, that the silence simply became the safest room you knew how to live in. And so you went there. You closed the door. You kept the world running, the meals cooked, the calls answered, the smile held in place. While inside, something in you went perfectly, heartbreakingly still. She was not cold. She was not indifferent. She was a woman who had learned that going quiet was the only way she knew how to survive. If that landed somewhere in your chest just now, if you felt something recognize itself in those words, then this video is for you. Not to analyze you, not to diagnose you, but to finally, gently, help you understand why you do this. And more importantly, what it has been costing you. Because the women who go quiet when they are hurt are not broken. They are not cold. They are not too sensitive or too much. They are women who loved deeply in places that were not always safe to love. And they adapted. They survived. They protected themselves the only way they knew how. But survival, my love, was never meant to be permanent. And the silence that once protected you, it may now be the very thing keeping you from the life, the peace, and the connection you deserve. Stay with me, because what we are about to understand together may be the most important thing you have heard in a very long time. I want you to think of a woman named Eleanor. Eleanor is 62 years old. She raised 3 children, managed a household, showed up for every person in her life with a full heart and a willing hand. She is the woman people describe as the strong one, the dependable one, the one who always knows what to do. But here is what almost no one knows about Eleanor. When her husband says something that cuts her to the bone, she does not say a word. She stands up quietly, walks to the kitchen, and starts doing the dishes. When a friend dismisses her feelings without realizing it, Eleanor smiles, says it's fine, and later lies awake at 2 a.m, replaying every word of the conversation. When she is overwhelmed, she does not ask for help. She simply carries more, quietly, invisibly, alone. And on those rare nights when she sits down with a cup of tea and the house is finally still, there is a question that floats up from somewhere deep inside her, a question she has never quite let herself answer. Why is it so hard for me to speak when I am hurting? Perhaps you recognize yourself in Eleanor. Perhaps you have been her for years, even decades. Perhaps the silence has become so second nature that you no longer even notice you are doing it. Until you lie awake at night, full of all the words you never said, wondering why you feel so alone in a life that looks, from the outside, perfectly fine. You are not alone. And there is a psychology, a real, deep, beautifully complex psychology behind why women like you and Eleanor go quiet when they are hurt. Understanding it is not about blame. It is about coming home to yourself. The psychologist Bessel van der Kolk, in his groundbreaking work on trauma, wrote that when the nervous system learns that expressing distress brings more pain, it stops expressing. Not out of weakness, but out of extraordinary wisdom. Your body, your mind, your soul learn to protect themselves. Think back, not with judgment, but with gentle curiosity. Was there a time in your younger life when you expressed pain and it was met with dismissal? With anger? With the message that your feelings were too much, too dramatic, too inconvenient? For many women, especially those who grew up in households where emotional expression was not safe, silence became a survival strategy. You learned, perhaps before you had words for it, that the quieter you stayed, the safer you were. That swallowing your hurt kept the peace. That being easy and fine earned you love. or at least kept the storm at bay. And so the armor was built, piece by piece, year by year, smile by smile. The tragedy is not that you built the armor. The tragedy is that you are still wearing it in places where you are no longer in danger, in relationships with people who would actually hear you if you let them, in a life that has more safety in it than you have been allowing yourself to feel. Your silence was wisdom once. It kept you safe. But wisdom grows, and so must you. But here's what we need to understand next, because the silence does not simply stay in the space between you and other people. It travels inward. And what it does to you on the inside is something we must look at carefully. When we consistently swallow our pain, when we choose silence over expression year after year, something begins to happen beneath the surface that most people never see. Dr. Kristin Neff, the researcher behind self-compassion theory, describes it this way. When we deny our own emotional experience, we do not make the feelings disappear. We simply drive them deeper. They do not dissolve. They accumulate. They ferment. And over time, they begin to express themselves in other ways, through chronic exhaustion that no amount of sleep can cure, through a quiet numbness that creeps into moments that used to bring you joy, through a generalized sense of sadness you cannot quite name or place. Women who carry unexpressed grief and unspoken hurt for years often describe the same feeling, like there is a glass wall between them and their own life. They can see happiness. They can perform it, even, but they cannot quite touch it, cannot quite feel it from the inside. Does that resonate with you? There is also something that happens to your body. Research now confirms what many women have known in their bones for decades. Unprocessed emotional pain lives in the body. It shows up as tension you carry in your shoulders, as a tightness in your throat when you try to speak your truth, as a low-level anxiety that hums beneath every ordinary moment, reminding you of everything you have not allowed yourself to feel. The feelings you never expressed did not disappear. They became the weight you carry without knowing why. And yet, here's the part that matters most. None of this is permanent. The body and the heart have an extraordinary capacity for healing when given the right conditions. And understanding the full picture of why you go quiet is the first condition of all. So let us keep going, because the next piece of this is where many women finally have a name for what they have been feeling for years. The psychology of going quiet when you are hurt is not one simple thing. It wears at least 3 distinct faces, and most women move between all of them without realizing it. The first face is the protector. This is the silence that says, if I speak my truth, someone I love will be hurt or angry or will leave. And so you carry the pain alone because it feels safer than risking the relationship. The protector's silence comes from love, but it is a love that has forgotten to include you in its circle of care. The second face is the doubter. This is the silence that says, maybe I am overreacting. Maybe it is not as bad as I think. Maybe if I just wait long enough, the feeling will pass. The doubter's silence comes from a lifetime of being told, directly or indirectly, that your emotional experience cannot quite be trusted. And so you have learned to second-guess yourself right out of your own feelings. The third face is the exhausted one. This is the silence that has nothing left to fight with. You have spoken before. You have tried to explain, to express, to be heard. And the result was dismissal or conflict or the soul-crushing experience of realizing that the person you were speaking to simply was not capable of receiving you. So you stopped, not from cowardice, but from a grief so deep it no longer had words. She was not silent because she had nothing to say. She was silent because she had said it all before, and no one had listened. Which face do you recognize most in yourself? Perhaps all 3 in different seasons. That recognition, as painful as it is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a different one. And that beginning requires us to understand one more essential truth before we can talk about healing. The psychologist Carl Jung wrote about something he called the provisional life, a life in which a person is always waiting for the real life to begin, always telling themselves that the current season is temporary, that one day, when things are different, when the children are grown, when the marriage improves, when the circumstances change, then they will finally come home to themselves. For many women who go quiet when they are hurt, this provisional quality seeps into their entire sense of self. You hold yourself back from your own desires. You defer your own needs endlessly. You live in a kind of careful half-presence, showing up for everyone else's life while quietly, almost invisibly, disappearing from your own. And the silence is at the center of all of it. Because when you cannot speak your pain, you also cannot speak your longing. You cannot say, I am lonely. I am unfulfilled. I am more than the role I have been playing. I want something for myself, from myself, and I am terrified to want it. This is the weight that Eleanor carries to the kitchen when she does the dishes in silence. This is the question that rises at 2 a.m. and has no answer yet. This is the life that has been lived beautifully and dutifully on the surface, waiting for permission to go deeper. You have given everyone else your presence. When do you finally give it to yourself? The answer to that question is not a distant day. It is not when circumstances change. It is not when someone finally gives you permission. It begins now. It begins here. It begins with the 4 steps that we are going to walk through together, gently, without pressure, without judgment. There is no magic in healing. There is no moment when the silence simply lifts and you are suddenly free. But there are small, brave, consistent acts that, over time, rebuild the relationship between you and your own voice. Here are 4. Before you can find the words to say to anyone else, you must first learn to say them to yourself. Not to judge what you find, not to edit or rationalize or minimize, simply to name it. I am hurt. I am angry. I am lonely. I am carrying more than I should be, and I am exhausted. Begin with a journal. In the quiet of the morning or the stillness of the night, give your feelings a place to exist before they have to be witnessed by anyone. Brené Brown, whose work on vulnerability has changed millions of lives, says that naming our emotions is the first act of reclaiming power over them. You cannot address what you have not acknowledged, and you cannot heal what you have kept buried beneath the weight of everyone else's needs. If you have been silent for years, speaking is not a switch you flip. It is a muscle you slowly, carefully rebuild. Begin small, not with the hardest conversation, not with the person who has hurt you most deeply. Begin with a safe person, a trusted friend, a counselor, perhaps even yourself in a mirror, and practice saying one true thing, one feeling, one need, without qualifying it, apologizing for it, or immediately softening it into nothing. I am not okay today. I need some time alone. That comment hurt me. Each time you do this, you are sending a message to your nervous system that it is safe to exist, that your truth is allowed to take up space, that you will not be destroyed by being known. This is not easy, but it is the most important work of your life. One of the most quietly devastating things about being a woman who goes silent when she is hurt is the accumulation of all the times no one asked, all the hurts no one noticed, all the moments you waited to be seen, and instead of being met, were simply overlooked. That grief is real, and it deserves to be honored, not bypassed. Allow yourself to feel the weight of those seasons, not to drown in them, but to release them. Cry if you need to cry. Rage quietly if you need to rage. Let yourself grieve the version of you who waited so long to be heard, who deserved so much more, who carried so much more than anyone knew. She was remarkable. She was resilient, and she deserved to be seen. Grief is not weakness. It is the deepest act of self-respect, acknowledging that what you lost truly mattered. The greatest antidote to the silence is not willpower. It is not self-discipline. It is belonging. It is finding people, even one person, who can receive your truth without flinching, who do not rush to fix you, minimize you, or redirect you back to being convenient, who can simply sit with you in your reality and say, I hear you. I see you. You are not too much. This might be a therapist. a grief counselor, a women's circle, a friend who has done her own healing work, a community, online or in person, of women who understand what it is to have lived a life of quiet sacrifice and are now slowly learning to reclaim their voices. You were never meant to carry this alone. The silence was a solo act of survival, but healing, real, lasting, cellular healing happens in relationship, in being witnessed, in belonging to something larger than your own brave, tired, extraordinary self. There is a quote I want to leave with you today. Carl Jung wrote, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." To accept yourself completely means accepting the woman who went quiet, the woman who swallowed her pain, the woman who gave and gave and gave until she forgot what it felt like to receive, the woman who waited and adapted and survived, and who is now, perhaps for the first time, beginning to wonder what it would feel like to truly, fully live. That woman is not broken. She is not behind. She is not too late. She is here, right now, in this moment, ready. You are not starting over. You are starting from a place of everything you have already survived, and that is a place of extraordinary power. The silence was not your failure. It was your first chapter. And this willingness to look inward, to understand yourself with compassion rather than judgment, to ask the questions that matter. This is how the next chapter begins, not with a sudden transformation, not with perfection, but with one small, brave, trembling act of truth at a time. Say it with me now. I am reclaiming my peace, not the peace of keeping quiet, not the peace of keeping everyone else comfortable, but the deep, settled, hard-won peace of a woman who finally knows her own worth and speaks from that place. If something in today's video reached you, if you felt even one moment of being truly understood, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, when was the last time you went quiet when you were hurting? And what do you wish you had been able to say? And if you know a woman in your life, a sister, a daughter, a dear friend, who carries her pain in silence, who has built her life around keeping the peace while quietly losing her own, please share this video with her, not as a diagnosis, as a gift, as a way of saying, I see you, and so does this community. Subscribe to Motivation Humanity so we can keep walking this path together, slowly, honestly, and with the kind of compassion that leaves no woman behind. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You have earned it.